I don't think I really need to record today. It's not much information. Okay, so we talked about the difference between anatomy and physiology. And that is just the study of structures, the pieces and parts. And physiology is basically what they do. So you have like muscles, and we could go through and name them all, and that's going to be super easy because it's memorizable. But physiology, how the muscle actually contracts, is a little more difficult. And then anatomical position, when we're referring to structures, and from now on we will be referring to structures, it's important that we're looking at them from the anatomically correct position. So standing up, hands are at our side, palms are forward, toes are forward, and that is our reference point. We talked about the levels of organization. Something in multiple choice questions that would always trip people up is maybe I said, what was the level preceding organ? And they just didn't know the word preceding. So that means comes before. So we talked about how atoms go together to make molecules, and all of this is basically the same definition, just a new word. So molecules go together to make cells, and cells go together to make tissues. And they're all working together to perform a specific function. And then we talked about each of the systems, and we wanted to know like the basic organs. You didn't have to name them all, but like the stomach and the digestive system, the heart and the circulatory, endocrine, any of the glands like thyroid, excretory, getting rid of things, so kidneys, immune system, your lymph nodes are probably tonsils you're familiar with, integumentary, your skin, muscular, any of the muscles, your biceps, your quadriceps, and your nervous system, your brain would be obvious, reproductive, ovaries, testes, respiratory, your lungs, and skeletal is the bones. Okay, so just the basics, because we're going to go through all of the specific functions and structures as we go through the year. And then we talked about the planes, transverse, horizontal, sagittal cuts us into right and lefts, and the frontal is front and backs. And we'll want to be familiar with those, because when we're looking at structures, it'll say you're looking at a frontal view or a sagittal view. So it's important we know what view we're looking at. And then we did our comparison terms using directional terms. So like superior is only used in the trunk, the head, and the body part. So superior means above and inferior means below. So point number 2, what is superior to point number 2? Point number 1. Lateral means to the side, medial means towards the midline. Be careful not to say middle, because that can be not entirely clear. Are we talking about the middle of a heart, like on the inside of it, or are we talking about the midline? So it's really closer to the midline, and lateral is away from the midline. So 3 is lateral, standing anatomically correct. 4 is medial. 5 and 6, I think this is my 5 and 6. I can't see the numbers, they're too little, but this would be medial and lateral. Anterior is just front, posterior, back. So 7 is anterior, and this would be posterior. And then proximal, we're referring to either arms or legs or bones that are connected to the axis being the midline down the middle. So closer the attachment is proximal, away from the attachment is distal. So in the distance or approximating, getting close. So 9 and 10, 9 is closer the attachment here, and 10 is further the attachment, going down that way. What else? So we talked about all the landmarking terms, and that was on the ever-growing vocabulary list. We had a question about the perineal, which would be, in this case, they're using fibular. It would be the same on the side, on the lateral surface of the lower limb. And we could do some practice, but I don't need to stand here and go through it all. Are there any you would like me to point out or to answer for you? Any that you're not so sure about looking at the picture? Okay, so this is what I have for you for your assignment. So this is going to count as our test. This isn't what I typically do, but like I said, it's more important that we have an understanding, a working knowledge of what we're going to do here. So I'm going to go ahead and open this so you can see what you have to work with. And so this is, I didn't do notebooks. Those of you who have had me in the past, we did notebooks all along. So I'm basically having you create your notebook for your test. So just search the internet. Find 5 images that relate to chapter 1 topics. So this just lets me know you know even what it is that we studied. Upload a picture of something you've done. I know you guys are studying on your own and you're making your own visuals or flashcards or something. Just take a picture of something you've made that has helped you study this week or 2 weeks, whatever. You're going to label these planes. And then here you're going to, in your own words, so I definitely don't want a cut and paste definition of how would you describe anatomy versus physiology, and then give an example of each. So what would you study under anatomy? What would you study under physiology? I think this is all pretty self-explanatory. I show you a couple examples, and like this would be for me the left side of a notebook if you know me. These are anything that you might have made. It could be, this is a concept map. Some kids have done practice tests, practice quizzes. They might have a drawing or some other visual that helped them understand something. So this has to do with levels of organization, and this is a screenshot. So a worksheet you've already done, making corrections or completing it. Like sometimes it was just something we did in class, but we didn't complete it. So like on this one, the biozone, we only threw in 3 words and then we went on with our life. But there were more words to use. So complete the worksheet and add color with a purpose. So our brain likes pictures with color. So when I think circulatory, I think red. So that would be like color coding it. Here you're going to make a video. So label this first and you have your resources, but to be able to look at yourself and go, this is my orbital and my nasal and my oral and my buccal. Like your video will show that you understand that because you're not taking time to really think about it. So you can pick whatever 15 you want and you can practice before your video if you want, but make a 1-shot video where you're demonstrating those 15 words, and you can use somebody else to demonstrate it on, or you can use yourself. So again, this one is a screenshot where you might have added details. So I made comments on your sheets, especially under proximal and distal. So this is your chance to you know, clarify. And as you go through here, 8 necessary life functions, and then just identify which of those 8 are being exemplified here. Same kind of thing. This is your understanding of a negative feedback loop. So I should tell from your drawing, I don't want a cut and paste picture from the internet. You can draw with this, or you can draw on a piece of paper and, you know, take a picture and upload it and put your pictures here. For any of those that say create your own, you can just upload a picture of your own creation. And that is what I have for you. So there's 8 slides with 2 sides. So there's 16 tasks for you. So at this point, I'm not clarifying content, but I can clarify directions. Yeah, you should give a specific example of like an atom, of a cell, of a tissue. Yeah. Okay. What questions do you have for me before I hit go?
This isn't about the test,
Okay.
but I just looked in Skyward and it says for the Zoom on September 3rd that I got a 0 on it, but I was there.
For each of the Zooms, there was something you had to do, so it may have just been hit done.
Okay.
So check that, because once you do, then it moves it into another folder. So I don't see the assignment until you've hit done.
Okay.
Or it might have yeah, just check. There was some task. It might have been a question to answer or,
Okay.
yeah. I know you're good at attending all of these. You were in the spring too.
Yeah, I have another question. What are we supposed to do for the Zoom today?
Just hit done.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess I wasn't sure if I was going to put this link to that or if I was going to put this in the Flex. So I probably could have done it as a material, but yeah, just hit done. Okay, so I'm going to the classwork and I am hitting save. So this says that it's due Wednesday at 7:45. So you have this hour and a half, and then if you need more time, you can work on it outside of class, and then you're going to turn it in before we see each other on Wednesday.